Jose Aldo, he has nothing else, like nothing left to prove. I don't like. Max is still young. Max is still on his way. Max is gonna have to go backwards to try to get back. Aldo could be done, and he can walk away from the sport. I'm sorry, but he's fucking done everything he's needed to do. I'm sure winning this title would be amazing for him. It'd probably mean the world to him, knowing like, okay, I'm back. But no, I think Max, because honestly, all I've seen is people talking about how he didn't have a really good camp last time, and it was, he didn't make any adjustments in the corner, and I've kind of heard a lot of excuses. I'm not saying that some of them aren't deserved, but my point is that I think Max has all the tools to beat Volkanovski. He has it all. With Aldo is, I think, kind of started just kind of falling into a little bit of that, just like we've talked about with boxing. Got away from his kicks, got away from all the things that made him one of the best, if not the best guy in the world. Max still is growing, man. He's got so much more room. I think he has a lot more to lose right now if he doesn't get this fight, because now he's got to work his way back. Having a third fight with someone after you've lost 2, it's hard to get back to that time. Even if he gets back, they're going to be like, we've already seen this fight twice. He may not get another shot for a long, long time if he loses this. Aldo has the pool to do what he wants in 35 or 45. Not as much as he used to, but I'm saying he could
Dave,
work his way back.
Dave, read that question again.
Okay, the question is, who's under the most pressure to win, Holloway or Aldo? And if they lose, where do they go?
Okay, so this is the point. You just verified the whole thing. Because, yes, listen for a second. Just sit back and listen.
Oh, man.
Aldo is under pressure because he's been given an opportunity in the 135-pound weight class to become the champion that will lead his career forward. All right? Even if he goes and he loses the next fight, he had that next fight where he made a good amount of money to defend that belt. If he does not win this fight, he's done. He's never going to get that big payday again. He's never going to get a shot at the title again. He is done. Where Max Holloway is still young, yes, you can always have that fighter who is trouble for you. But Max, you can look in the same direction. Take a look at Uriah Faber. He had a win against Dominic Cruz and then lost a couple. But he was always put back because he had that ability to put butts in seats, which Max does. Mm-hmm. And he was at an age where he could still do it, but not even close to as young as Max. Max is in a position where, yes, the fight's important. I'm not saying it's not. But if he loses it, all he needs is for someone to come in, a Brian Ortega or some other, Aljamain Sterling, come in, take Volkanovski off his feet, submit him, and now guess who's back in the picture? Prime time. And then we'll say that Max wins that fight. And then guess where Volkanovski in that third fight's going to come? So Max is under pressure to win. Sure, he wants that title back, and you're always under pressure when you fight. But his career moves on in a positive direction and will move forward, and he'll still be making good money in the future. I don't see the same thing for Aldo. So in my opinion, Aldo has more pressure on him with this fight.
Did you just pitch your argument on what ifs? Like, what if Volkanovski loses to Sterling and he loses to Ortega?
There's what if.
You just said what if. You said
it's very simple that Aldo, if he loses this fight, is done as far as championship fights. Done. Okay, not going to happen again. Not at 145, not at 135. Done. So why are you fighting? At this point, you'll be fighting for a paycheck if they keep him. And I'm sure they would keep him, but that paycheck is going to be less based upon now you are no longer that guy that can win the title. You are becoming my gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And when Aldo becomes the gatekeeper, it's over. It's over.
Okay, I'm not saying that it can't be over. What happens now, since you're living in the what if world, okay? What happens if Aldo makes it like a close fight where it becomes close to a draw, or it's controversial? Then what? And let's say Aldo loses, but it's controversial. Okay. Everyone's like,
so he loses.
So he loses. Now what?
Okay, it's real simple. I have a ton of 135ers sitting there.
Yeah.
I've got Aljamain. I've got Marlon Moraes. I've got all these people sitting there waiting for a title fight. So he's still out.
Okay, he's out.
Unless they have the fight of the year and Jan wins by, in some people's opinion, a close margin or controversial, which, they say just because it's close, it's controversial. It's not. But Jan wins. Maybe Aldo can come back in a couple of fights because they've already promised Sterling that next shot.
Yeah.
All right. So you get Sterling, then you got to say, well, then Jan's got to beat Sterling for Aldo to get that title shot, because if Sterling beats Jan, you can put Aldo and Jan back together again, but it's not for a title.
Yeah, I don't look. I lean more towards Max because, like you said, I'm leaning towards Max. You're expecting someone to potentially beat Volkanovski. What happens if Volkanovski stays the champ for 3 or 4 or 5 more fights?
Possibility.
Max is out, so I think it affects him. I think it affects him more that he won't be getting another title shot for at least 4 or 5 more fights.
Okay, let me ask you this: do you see in Volkanovski? Do you see a guy coming in and beating him in the stand-up, knocking him out, taking him out with a decision through stand-up based attacks? Or do you see a guy taking him off of his feet and submitting him as the road to victory? Which one do you see is the easier road to victory against Volkanovski?
Well, I could see Brian Ortega doing both. I could see him knocking him out. I could see him taking him down. I could see him submitting him. But what I think we're underestimating is the fact that, sure, it'd be easy to maybe take him down and submit him, but it's not going to be easy. He's a lot shorter. He's really strong. Obviously has.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
I understand
He's
that.
a champ.
But I get that. But I can't base the question off of that argument of like, hey, can these guys beat him? I'm not basing it off that. I'm basing it off the fact that if Max loses and Volkanovski stays the champion for 5 or 6 more fights, he is the one that's going to get hit the most. Jose Aldo has had a long career. Jose Aldo already knows what's going on.
So hold it. So you're going into the what if then, because it's only if Volkanovski stays the champion for that long.
100% agree. Okay.